Hello, hello my fine friends, and welcome to the start of a new week and of course a new weekly reading vlog. So last week was just not it, was it? Last week we did not make a whole ton of progress on the books that we were reading, and we are in week 3 of the Bookoplathon and the Magical Readathon now. And I need to pull it together. I need to finish some books. I finished 2 books so far for this month that were towards those TBRs, and I'm currently halfway through another one, and also 25%-ish of the way through one that isn't on my September TBR that I should have read in August. So my goal for this week is kind of just to pull everything together and get some books finished. I'm hoping to finish these 2 and also maybe squeeze in a 3rd this week. But before I get into telling you guys about those 2 books that I am reading, I would first like to say a huge thank you to today's video sponsor, which is Ana Luisa. So if you guys are at all unfamiliar with Ana Luisa, they are a company that I really love because they are a small batch, affordable, and most importantly a sustainable jewelry company that are committed to creating high quality and fashionable pieces without damaging the environment in the process. They essentially allow you to enjoy a little bit of luxury in the jewelry that you wear without any of the nasty consequences like high price tags, unethical factory conditions, and also like CO2 emissions. A lot of the precious metals that they use, like the silver and the gold, is recycled, and all of their diamonds are also lab grown. Something that I really love about the jewelry from Ana Luisa is that while they do have some bolder pieces and some more statement pieces, they also have a lot of really simple and elegant pieces of jewelry that you can kind of dress down and wear in a casual setting like I'm doing today, or you can add them to a little bit of a nicer outfit if you're going out anywhere nice to add that little bit of sparkle that completes your look. Something else I really love about the more simple and elegant pieces as well is that they are perfect for layering. So the pieces that I'm wearing today were sent to me by Ana Luisa, so of course a huge thank you to Ana Luisa for that. But today I'm wearing the Alex ring, which is a really simple like crossed design that gives the effect of having layered rings without you actually having to layer them. I also have the heritage necklace set. I really love how fine they are, and fun fact, I have a really wide neck, so it's difficult for me to find layering necklaces where the short one is not too tight, and this one fits absolutely perfectly on the extender loop. And if you know me, if you've been on this channel for a while, you will absolutely know that I adore snake earrings. Snake earrings are my jam, so I am absolutely 100% obsessed with these tiny little snake boa earrings. They are so adorable, and I'm a sucker. Like, snakes and daggers are my thing, we know this. So if any of you guys would like to check out Ana Luisa for yourself and maybe pick up a couple of pieces of sustainable jewelry, I'm happy to let you guys know that I can offer you an additional 10% off your order today by clicking on the link at the top of my description box. Their prices start at $39, they're super affordable, and I would recommend that you guys go check them out and see if you find your new favorite piece of jewelry. So as for the books that we need to finish this week, I'm sure you guys know what they both are because I'm still reading Sunderland Ascends by Josiah Bancroft, and I'm not even not enjoying it. It's just taking me forever. And Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb. So these are both book club books. This one is for Aaron from Booked and Busy's Busy Bee book club, and this one is for my book club, Catch Up Book Club. We're doing Ad Ling Long. You guys know this, but I'm currently a quarter of the way through this one. I'm on page, actually I'm about a 1/3 of the way through it. I'm selling myself short here. I'm on page 130 of this, and this one is an adult fantasy about a man called Thomas Senlin who goes on his honeymoon to this tower called the Tower of Babel. His wife goes missing while they're in the market. He says he'll wait for her. She says she'll be back soon. 2 days later, she still hasn't returned, so then he starts to climb the tower to find her. He wants to make his way to the top because he thinks that's where she'll be, and on every floor there's something different, like it has a different theme of sorts. So this one has a historical-ish writing style. It feels a lot like Agatha Christie and a little bit like Victorian in the writing, and it does also feel like it's going to be really conceptual. Like, the focus of this is the Tower of Babel and the exploration of every floor of this tower as opposed to the plot. Still not far enough in to let you guys know whether this has a decent plot, but I am really enjoying it so far regardless, and I'm going to be not prioritizing this one overall, but for tonight I'm going to be trying to make more progress in this one than I am my second book, which is Fool's Fate. This one is actually on my Bookoplathon and Magical Readathon TBR. For Bookoplathon it is in for Big Book, and for Magical Readathon I think it's in for the Tower of Rumination, which is to read a 5-star 5-star prediction. And this one is the final book in the Tawny Man series. Y'all know about Fitz by now. Fitz is the bastard son of the Prince in Waiting, Prince Chivalry, and he's sent to Bookkeep to meet his father. His father finds out that he's on his way and he abdicates the throne and leaves, which means that Fitz is in a little bit of an odd position, and he's mainly raised by the stable Master Burrick until the king takes an interest in him and trains him to be an assassin. So this is the culmination of this trilogy, which is centering around a quest that the Prince of the Six Duchies must complete, and Fitz has been tasked with accompanying him. We also have some of the wider elements of the plot in here with like all of the prophecies and stuff, and without spoiling it, like we have a lot of White Prophet catalyst stuff, which is really exciting, but it's also going to be soul destroying. I'm expecting this to break my heart by the time I get to the end of it, so sorry if you have some crying in this vlog, but I'm currently 404 out of 805 pages in this, and like with all end of series by Robin Hobb, it's just incredibly slow and it adds a level of realism. And if this is going to be anything like the last book in the Farseer trilogy, it's kind of going to be worth it at the end, where it's really tedious to actually go through the beginning where it's super slow and real boring, but by the time you get to the end it pays off because you have more of an emotional impact when the plot does actually start to go down and things actually start to happen. So at the moment I am incredibly bored with this. I've been reading about 5 pages and then staring into space for about an hour, and that is why my progress has been so slow. So we have a little bit of a different plan of action now. I have at least until Friday. I've got until Sunday to read this, and at least until like Friday, Saturday to read this one. So instead of just prioritizing this because it's bigger and trying to make more progress in this and putting this on a little bit of a back burner, I'm going to be smart about the time that I have. So 2 nights this week I have the Buffy watch along. I also have 2 sets of sprints this week, and at the weekend I have 4 live shows in 2 days, which may just kill me off. But when I'm busy and I have stuff going on like the Buffy watch along, which takes up a couple of hours of my evening, I'm going to prioritize reading this book on those days because I can read this faster than I can read this. So I can knock out 50 pages of this in the time that it would maybe take me to read 25 of this. So tonight we're going to be focusing on Sunderland Ascends and seeing how much I can read, because I have quite a lot on just in general this week and today. And then what am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow may be one of the days where I actually don't have anything on, so then we will focus on this and I will let you guys know how my progress is. As well as that, I have a ton of candle orders that I need to pack. I have a ton of candles that I need to make. I have a nail appointment on Thursday afternoon, which is fine, only takes like an hour to 2 hours. But then on Friday I have a hair appointment in the afternoon, and that typically takes about 7 or 8 hours to relighten all of my hair, tone it purple, and also trim, cut, like wash, blow, all of that kind of stuff. So at this point I'm not sure if I'm going to get everything I need to do done this week. I have no videos planned either, whereas the last couple of weeks I've prepared them in advance. I've got nothing, absolutely nothing. So it's going to be an interesting week, but keep your fingers crossed for me, that's all I can say. Hey, so I have been a little bit busy, but I'm actually feeling so much better than I was last week at the end of last week's vlog. Thank you to for your guys' response on that vlog as well. It wasn't something I was looking for, like people asking if I was okay and stuff. I'm absolutely fine and I'm even better this week now. And I've actually managed to stick to my plan for reading so far. So on Monday, I didn't read 100 pages of this. I got up to the next 100, which is what I'm getting. I'm working in hundreds, essentially hundreds of pages. So I'm halfway through this now on page 206, and I struggled to get back into this when I picked it up. It's a really weird experience because I do enjoy it when I'm reading it, no desire to pick it up. Still don't understand how much of a plot we're gonna have in here. We took a step forward with the plot, which is great, but I'm enjoying it enough. I don't feel like I'm gonna have a definite feel for this book until I finished it. But I read this on Monday. I had the Buffy watch along, and I will be picking this up again tomorrow, possibly tonight because I'm doing Patreon sprints tonight. But my focus for last night, and also what will be my main focus for today, is Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb, which at the 400 page mark finally picked up. I think there was one middling chapter after that 400 page mark, because I was on page 404, wasn't I, at the start of the week, and then since then I'm now on page 510. The a fucking motorbike. It's like, sort your engine out, dickhead. Those last 100 pages were so solid. Also a little bit painful. Like, I know that this book is going to be emotional. I don't know if I'm going to cry because I've only cried at Fool's Errand so far. I think I may have almost teared up in Assassin's Quest, but we have some big dynamic characters involved in this, and I don't think it's going to end well. And there's a way that it could end that would actually be worse than like the ending that everyone assumes when I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna hurt me. Like, I'm not gonna say it because I'm not gonna give spoilers of what might happen, but I feel like Hamilton, he is in a right mood with me. He has been meowing at me for the last couple of hours because he wants food, but he can't have, well, actually he can be fed now, so I should probably go and do that. But yeah, he's not happy with me. But like, there's something you assume when I say that this book is gonna break me. There's something that could happen that is actually worse than like that big thing, and I'm scared. And I also have sprints tonight, which I don't think, well, I don't think it's gonna happen in the next 100 pages because that's too soon in the book. I've got 300 pages left at the minute, but I'm still scared. And then I'll be reading, so if I read 100 pages of this tonight, I'll be on page 600. 100 pages of this tomorrow will put me on page 300 of this. So I'll have 200 pages of this and 100 pages of this to go, which means that I will probably read on Friday. I'll probably read this, which will take me to page 700. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'll have 100 pages of each left. And I have sprints with G from Book Roast for the Magical Readathon on Saturday, and then my own sprints on Sunday. So there's a lot of chances of me crying on camera this week, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. But yeah, I just thought I'd come in and let you know that I'm doing better, I'm feeling better, I'm much less stressed. My reading is back on track, slow still, but I'm doing all right. The end is in sight. Last week it was just at the beginning of 2 books that I was struggling through. The end wasn't even in sight, which just made me even moodier. And we got a letter from Domino's today which had an NFC tag in it, which is like something you can tap your phone to and it'll interact with your phone. And we got like an exclusive NFC tag deal, and it's like, this is the weirdest marketing thing I have ever seen, because it came in like a metallic padded envelope as well. And I was like, how much money have you spent on this piece of plastic when you could have emailed me an offer? Why was that necessary? Regardless, we are going to take them up on the offer because my HelloFresh, my next box, is only delivered on Friday, and I have 1 meal left that we're going to do tomorrow. So as it sprints, I'm gonna order a pizza, read my book, and hopefully have a fantastic time. Good afternoon. I'm looking a little bit red because I've just had my brows done, and also I've had my upper lip waxed for the first time. It is something that I have struggled with my entire life because, as you can see, I have very dark hair, so my upper lip, my tash, is very prominent, and I've just had it waxed and it feels like a cat. Not now, but when it's being waxed, it feels like a cat scratching your face, and then having it plucked, it feels like being hit in the face with a cactus. So that was not a fun experience, but I've got a smooth lip for the first time since I was like probably about 10, and I'm happy with that. Also got my nails done. It was new nail day, and we got these super autumnal nails. I love the colors of these. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. In case you didn't notice, I do have everything done by the same person, which is why I had it all done at once, which is Nails by Kerry on Instagram if you want to go check her out. But I have a couple of parcels today, and I don't know what this is, but I think it's from Ash, who is one of my patrons. And I also have this big old fairy loot box, which is the special editions of From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So instead of putting these in an unboxing, because they are just literally $3, and also they weren't PR products, I bought them, I thought I would just open them here for you guys. I ordered these before I read the 3rd book in the series, which we all know I didn't love. And I don't love the design of either the fairy loot or the Illumicrate covers on these, but when the Illumicrate arrived, I actually liked it a lot better in person than I did on the mock-ups. And this is pretty nice, right? We have sprayed edges, which I do really like the stenciled edges, but the thing that sold me on these was the under dust jacket art. So I believe the one on this one, yeah, that's Kieran. Absolutely stunning. And we also have this under jacket art, which is Poppy and Kieran. That's really cool. I love that. That's beautiful. So even though I'm not a huge fan of the covers, I really like the spine actually, as well as all of the under just jacket stuff. So that one was Crown of Gilded Bones. This one is Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, which again has Poppy on. gorgeous spine, red braid edges on this one. And oh, what are the end pages? Okay, so on this one, they're leaves. Are they all signed as well? Or is it just the first book in every set that's signed? I don't remember. I ordered these so long ago. Oh no, it's signed. This one has Fork under the cover. And oh, we like that. That is beautiful. I'm a fan. And once again is signed. And then the one for Some Blood and Ash, which looks like this. Gorgeous spine, stenciled edges, and this will have Poppy underneath on it. Yeah, that's really pretty. I really like the gold on them. And once again, absolutely beautiful under just jacket art. So yeah, those are my fairly special editions. Which way do they go? They do look really satisfying together. So yeah, I am glad that I picked these up. And the other thing that's from Ash, thank you very much, Ash, of course, for sending this to me, whatever it may be. We have one thing in here, and this is, oh, it's the fine print by Lauren Asher, which I'm pretty sure Ash is currently reading or has recently been reading. And it's like, I think it's smut, but with like, this one's Walt Disney. Like, it's inspired by Walt Disney. Rowan, I'm in the business of creating fairy tales, theme parks, production companies, 5-star hotels. Everything could be all mine if I renovated Dreamland. My initial idea of hiring Zara was good in theory, but then I kissed her. Things spiraled out of control once I texted her using an alias. By the time I realized where I went wrong, it was too late. People like me don't get happy endings, not when we're destined to ruin them. Zara. After submitting a drunk proposal criticizing Dreamland's most expensive ride, I should have been fired. Instead, Rowan Kane offered me a dream job. The catch? I had to work for the most difficult boss I'd ever met. Rowan was rude and completely off limits, but my heart didn't care, at least not until I discovered his secret. It was time to teach the billionaire that money couldn't fix everything, especially not us. I'm actually really excited about this. I'm really intrigued. I also like the roller coasters on the chapter pages. Thank you very much, Ash, for this. It also has a Spotify playlist in the beginning, which is cool, and this was published this year. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued, and Ash is reading it and seems to be enjoying it. So thank you so much, Ash, for that. We got a cute little book haul here. In terms of reading, I'm currently 235-ish, I think, pages into Sunderland Ascends, and I'm 602 pages into Fool's Fate, so still on track to finish both of them before the end of this week. And I've just got back from my nail appointment. It's like 4 o'clock, 10 past 4, and I have a restock going live at 6 o'clock, and I also have a video that I need to proof for 6 o'clock, so I'm going to crack on with proofing the video and see if I can get a couple of chapters of Sunderland Ascends read before I have to start making dinner at 5. Hello everybody, good afternoon. I'm just popping in real quick to let you guys know that I am about to leave. I've got about 20 minutes until I'm leaving for my hair appointment, which is going to take the best part of the day. It's like, my appointment's at 1:30. I expect I may be home at about 8, but I'm going to be taking Sunderland Ascends with me. I've had like a big dilemma about which book I should take with me, because I wasn't actually planning to still be reading these this week to start off with, but Fool's Fate is just too big to put in my bag to take with me. So I'm going to be taking Sunderland Ascends. I did get to page 302 last night, so I only have 89 pages left. Realistically, I could finish this at the salon, but then more realistically, like, what's actually going to happen is that I'm not going to be able to concentrate, and I'm just going to like be looking around for the time while I'm waiting for my dye to set. This is my plan. I am actually going to try and read a chapter of Fool's Fate before I go, because Fool's Fate was like my planned book for the day, because I don't have anything on this evening. And then I remembered how long my hair appointment takes, so I'm only going to be getting back late, but I have nothing. I'm really unsettled, you know, like when you have an appointment in the middle of the day, you don't feel like you can commit to anything. I'm feeling like that, and I have tried to pick up my book and read today, because I've also sorted it with being so efficient throughout the week. There's nothing I desperately needed to do this morning, so I've just proofed a video. But every time I pick up my book, I then put it down after about 5 lines and go and do something else, like I've just been to the shop, which to be fair I need to do because I didn't have anything in for lunch. I'd run out of tuna, and then I just had a salmon, a jacket potato, and a protein yogurt. So I'm hoping that's going to tide me over until a lot later this evening. My HelloFresh order arrived today, so I'll be making something from that for dinner. But I've had, like, I'm really loving HelloFresh for the service they provide in terms of being efficient, convenient, and like nutritionally balanced with the calorie count and everything like already in there. But they keep fucking up my orders. So last week they didn't send me a recipe card, they sent me the wrong type of chicken, and they missed out some bacon, and I reported it. They gave me credit and everything. Will say customer service is on point. But then today they've just missed out one entire recipe, so I have the cards for it. I actually have the meat for it with a little paper bag that's like the rest of the meal just didn't turn up. So that sucks, because the main reason I have HelloFresh as well as for the calorie and the nutritional balance is to eliminate the anxiety I have surrounding meal planning, and having this happen makes me more anxious. But I did cope with it a lot better today because I'd already done the process last week for the others and I knew it was simple and easy, and the customer service is amazing. So yeah, and at least I've checked everything so I know what's missing, and hopefully I will be good. But I'm just rambling now. This was unnecessary. I'm gonna go read a chapter and then get my hair done, and I'll show you what it looks like when I come back. She is back from the hairdressers and she has bangs, but because I haven't had them in so long, they're naturally parted in the middle. I've been fluffing them, but it's gonna be a case of like training my hair to go forward again to eliminate this. But I'm happy with them. I wanted them like uneven because there's nothing worse for me than just like a straight line across my forehead. I just need to stop them from parting in the middle. But oh my god, I'm obsessed. You can't tell in this lighting as well. Well, actually it doesn't look too bad. I had my colour done as well as usual, and it's so much more even now because the ends don't need lightening anymore, so we just like touch it up through the middle and it's beautiful. I'm obsessed. I love it. So I've come home, I've made dinner, I've had dinner, and I'm now watching Jade from Jade Reads Patreon sprints. I only read one chapter of Sunderland Ascends while I was at the salon because it was a much faster process than it normally is. Still took like 4.5 hours I think, but normally I'm in there for like a good 7. So I have Fool's Fate for the rest of the evening. So I've only just joined sprints. I don't know how many more Jade is planning on doing, but I'm gonna get some reading done and hopefully it's productive. Floating in a capsule high above the universe, and I think that I'd rather be floating here with you. My journey's seen 2 years. Sometimes I think my trip will see 2 more, but it gets quite lonely in my bubble, and I don't wanna cause no trouble, but I miss you. My entire life now is gonna center around smoothing out the gaps in my fringe. We'll go with that for now. So I just got to chapter 29 of Fool's Fate, and something is about to happen. I don't know what it is. I feel like I didn't expect it. I definitely expected something to happen because this was intended to be the last realm of the Elderlings book. I know that this is not the last realm of the Elderlings book because there's 7 more and 3 more Fitz ones. So I kind of expected something, but I don't feel like I expected it now. And I'm excited to see what transpires. Good morning. It is 9:15 and I am heading out because I am going to go and get my ears pierced. On a whim. Every single piercing I've ever had is because I've woke up one morning and gone, I'm gonna go get a piercing today. So I'm gonna go and get a piercing today. They have walk-ins at the tattoo studio in town this morning between 9 and 12:30. And then on the way back, a brand new coffee shop has just opened. Today is the opening day. They were open yesterday for friends and family, but today is their official opening day, and they've kind of just opened without any announcements, any ceremony. They're just open today. So on the way back, I'm gonna grab myself a coffee and then come home and read. So I didn't do my 100-page goal yesterday. I also can't find my book, it's down here, and I'm on page 662 of Fool's Fate. So I don't really have anything on today. I want to do a little bit of tidying, and I do have something on actually. I've got sprints on G's channel between 2 and 5, but before that, for the morning, I have nothing on. So I may do some tidying when I get back. I may read my book, but I'll come check in with you guys anyway when I'm back and show off the holes in my ears. I'm going on my own. Otherwise, I would try and get some vlog footage while I'm getting my ears pierced, but I'm not brave enough to do that by myself. Okay, so mission accomplished. The ears are pierced. And I'm getting funny looks, so I'm gonna stop now. So your girl is home, and it's only 10 AM. So I had my ears pierced and grabbed a coffee in 45 minutes. You know, that is small town life, and I'm not mad about it. Although usually I am quite mad about small town life. So I'm gonna drink my coffee, which is really good, and read some of my book and then crack on with some tidying, I think, because I've got up and got out of the house first thing in the morning. I have a ton more energy than I normally would. I'd normally be sat on the sofa and I'm like, I don't want to do anything, but we're feeling good. So we're gonna crack on and get some stuff done before sprints later. But I know that that's not possible, and we both know that we ended things when I left. I'm lost in the universe, I'm lost in the universe, I'm lost in the universe. So it's 5:15. I've just got out of G Sprints and I immediately came to my bed because I want to lie down. I'm sleepy. But I'm currently on page 726 of Fool's Fate and I'm really enjoying it now. And some of the characters I just love. Like, I love Patience so much. Patience and Lacey are honestly amazing. Like, we love those ladies in this household. It's weird though because this book feels kind of disjointed. So like the first 400 pages that I read last week, so boring. Which is like Assassin's Quest. There was like 200-300 pages in that where like nothing happened apart from Fitz being depressed and walking. And then the like 200 pages after that, a whole ton of stuff happened. But it felt like the end of the book. And now I'm 130 pages into the final 200 pages. And it feels like I've started another book. So it's almost like I'm reading a trilogy all contained in one book. It's really weird. And with how good the second half of this has been, I feel like 5 stars. But then can I really negate the fact that I was so bored through the first 400 pages? I don't know. So the rating on this one's going to be interesting. I know I did give Assassin's Quest, which was the last book in the first trilogy, 5 stars, even though I had similar feelings about the beginning of it. But I don't know how it's gonna pan out yet. Like, I don't know what my rating's gonna be. But for now, I left it like 5 pages into a chapter, but it is 5:15 and I need to start making dinner soon. We're having Prince Harry's chicken pie, which honestly looks amazing, but takes 40 minutes to cook, and 30 minutes of that is like active me stood in the kitchen actually cooking, and I'm real tired. But what I'm gonna do actually is take my jeans off because I've been wearing them since like 9 AM this morning, and I need them off. Last night I did finally manage to finish Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb, and I did thoroughly enjoy this one, but it's not a full 5 stars. Which sucks, because for the magical readathon this was to fulfill the prompt to read a 5-star prediction, and it didn't quite get there. It wasn't quite 5 stars. So I still love all of the characters. With every book I love Fitz a little bit more. I feel like I've been a little bit slower to warm to Fitz than other people because I like him, but he frustrates me to no end, which then doesn't change my enjoyment of him, because that is kind of the point. He's very realistic in that he's very well developed across a lot of books, of course, but I wouldn't say that I loved him, like I adored him. But with every single book, especially as we've gone through this trilogy and it's been added on to the original 3 books, he's definitely grown on me a lot more, and I do truly adore him now. The Fool is one of my favorite characters of all time, and a lot of what surrounds the Fool in this book is what made me more emotional in here. That being said, I didn't cry in this one, and I think that a lot of that is down to me knowing that there's 3 more books. If I'd have read this series before like the last trilogy was announced, so what, like 2010 or something, I think this would have been a lot more emotionally impactful. I think there was potential for me to cry in here, or at least be fairly devastated. But I do know some things that transpire in the last series, not like spoilers or anything, it's just the existence of a 3rd trilogy and titles of books and stuff implies a few things about this series, which definitely reduced the sadness that I felt when reading this. I talked to you yesterday about the disjointed nature of this as well, which is one of the main reasons why I gave this 4 stars and not a full 5. I will say that in terms of those emotional things that happened, I felt like a lot of them happened off of the page, and kind of like you knew they were happening in the background, but you never really got to see them, and that took away a lot of the impact of the emotional elements as well. It's a book in 3 parts. We have the first 400 pages, which are nothing. We have 200 pages which feel like they should be the end of a book, but so much still happens in them, and then the book kind of carries on for 200 pages, and I'm assuming that is because it was intended to be the last book in the series, so it kind of wrapped up a lot of the mundane things. But I did find that a lot of the threads in here that we'd introduced, this is a really disjointed series, because the first book introduces a lot of the politics of the witted people, who are the people who can speak to animals in this series, and then kind of drifts away from that to set up this epic quest, which is set up in the 2nd book and then concluded in this one. But we still have a lot of open threads from the first book in this trilogy, which were really, again, off page, hastily wrapped up in this one. And then to top it off, because of certain circumstances that I can't really mention much of in here, I really did not like the end of this book. it makes sense. I get why it happened, but because of my personal feelings towards certain characters and preferring other characters much more, it makes sense why this series doesn't go in the way that I want it to. Although it is heavily hinted at, and there's a lot of discussion in here about those kind of elements, and it's a really like good, well developed, like bittersweet thing going on, and it makes sense why the book doesn't actually lean fully into that direction. But the other direction, I'm just like, no, especially because we have those other threads there. I'm like, please, can we not? But that being said, the character work in here is still amazing, very atmospheric. It's a very multi-layered plot with lots of main strings. So like there was some that were wrapped up really hastily, but there's some that have been present like in the background since book one, and we're finding out more continuously every time we have a new installment in the book. And that like slow burn of the plot, like giving you little bits of information, but there always being more to uncover to gain a full understanding, I do really enjoy. So it is still 4 stars, and I did really enjoy it once I got past the page 400 mark, but not a full 5 stars. And I actually looked back, because I said to you in this vlog that I probably should have given Assassin's Quest 4 stars, even though at the time it was my favorite in the series. It is also the most flawed that I'd read up until that point. And when I was filling in my spreadsheet, I looked, I have a page that has all of the books I own in, and there's a space on that page to put the rating after you've read every book. And mine are organized by the same way as my bookshelves. They're organized alphabetically within the names of authors. So all of the Hob is together in order of publication. I have actually given the only other Hob book that I've given 4 stars was the last book in the Live Ship Traders. So it seems a theme. We have 2 5-star books and a 4-star book, and we'll see whether that continues throughout the Rain Wild Chronicles and also the Fifth and the Full trilogy. But I feel accomplished, you know. It took me a while to get to this point. I finished 2 books within the first 4 days, 5 days at the readathon, and then it took me 2 weeks to finish everything else, but I finally got there. So I have sprint starting kind of soon. I've got some time. I've got about 2 hours. I found this yesterday as well while I was waiting for G sprints to start. I'm not really going to do anything, am I, apart from sit around and wait for sprints to start. So I think I'm actually just going to go and sit and read Sunderland Ascends for a little bit. I read that 1 chapter in the hairdressers, so I think I have about 83-ish probably pages of that left. And actually, if I put my mind to it and do that now, I mean, I do have to break for lunch before sprint starts at about 12:30, but if I get a move on with that, I may have finished that before sprints, and then God knows what I'm gonna do for the rest of this vlog. Maybe read the graphic novels on my TBR. We'll see how it goes, but that's my plan, and I'm so happy that I finished a book. The dice have spoken, and we are in a 1 hour long reading sprint. So I'm going to be picking up Angel Volume 1, Being Human. This one is the first of the Angel comics in the Buffy reboot, and I just remembered this isn't even on my Bookoplathon TBR. The only reason I'm reading this is because Buffy Volume 2 is on my Bookoplathon TBR. I think this was a community shelf card to read a book in a continuing series. To read Buffy, I have to read Angel, and then because of what my Patreon pick was, I realized I could have just put Angel in for the prompt, but obviously I do all of the prompts before I get to the Patreon pick because I wanted Buffy specifically because it was set in a school, and this one is not. But this is the first Angel comic, as I said, in the rebooted Buffyverse comic. So it's like the story of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, but modernized. And I really enjoyed Volume 1 of Buffy, but I have not started Angel yet. So I guess we'll see how this one pans out. I should finish it in this sprint, and then I'll probably go back to Sunderland Ascends for however long I have left. So we still have 4 minutes of that 1 hour sprint left, and I have completed Angel Being Human. So I gave this one 4 stars. It's really hard to rate like the first volume of a graphic novel series because it's all pretty much set up. Like there's not a whole ton going on. It's just like an introduction to the characters and an introduction to the plot. I didn't get as much enjoyment out of this as I did from the Buffy reboot, but generally I am a lot more familiar with Buffy than I am with Angel to start off with anyway. But I did like how some of the plot threads are going to be woven in, how some of the characters being introduced, like with Buffy, it is introducing core characters that come later in the show in the early days of the series as opposed to later on. It's kind of weaving them alongside each other. So Angel, instead of starting a little bit into Buffy, is starting alongside the beginning of Buffy. So he he has, instead of being in Los Angeles in this very first volume, he moves to Sunnydale straight away, but also retains some of the story and the characters that are present in like all the seasons of Angel, as opposed to his storyline in Buffy. And it also does something a little bit different with his backstory that I'm actually excited to find out, because I feel like key characters to do with Angel's backstory in the show aren't here yet, so I'm interested to see how they're going to be woven in, but some of them are in Buffy. So yeah, it's going to be interesting how all of that comes together. So this one is done. This was also a gift for my birthday from the wonderful Harry, so thank you very much, Harry, for gifting this to me. And like I said, this isn't on my Bookoplathon TBR, sadly. Neither Sunderland Ascends, so we're not having a good time right now. But for the magical readathon, this one is for one of my character prompts, and it is the prompt for my location, which is Kerador, and the prompt is to read a book in an ongoing series. So now that that's done, I'm gonna go back to Sunderland Ascends, which I have 57 pages left of, and I'm still hoping to get through this in sprints. But no matter whether it's a double or not for the next round, I can move back to Sunderland Ascends, so hopefully I'm gonna finish that soon. Okay, so it feels like it took my entire life, but I have finally finished Sunderland Ascends by Josiah Bancroft. I gave it 3 stars. We weren't expecting like a super high rating from me on this one. Essentially, I never wanted to pick this up when I was reading it. Like, I could happily just put it down and not go back to it. But when I was picking it up, I was enjoying the writing style, and after I'd like adjusted to it in the beginning, because it's a lot more historical, it's like a steampunky kind of fantasy series, and that's not what I was expecting going into it, although I do think that I actually heard that somewhere a long time ago. So once I'd adjusted, I was enjoying it, but I just had no desire to pick it up. And then as soon as we hit like the 65, maybe 70% mark of this, my interest just gradually waned throughout the whole entire rest of this book. So while it was a 3 stars and I enjoyed it, it was very low 3 stars. Probably almost a 2. Something that I don't like about this is the lack of female characters, and there are some, but they're all side characters, and we do have prominent side characters in here, I guess, but because we're traveling through these floors of the tower, Sunderland will often leave them behind, like the side characters, so they're not, even if they are prominent side characters, they're not present through a lot of the book. I don't really like the way that women are portrayed in here. There's a black woman side character in here who's pretty much exclusively referred to. She's referred to by her name occasionally as well, but she's also referred to as like the Amazon. Don't really like that. It actually feels a lot like Mario. So do you know at the start of every Mario game, actually it is a lot like Mario. At the start of every Mario game, Bowser comes, finds Princess Peach and carts her away to the big evil scary castle, and Mario has to go through a series of like themed maps to rescue Princess Peach. That is exactly what this book is. So Maya has been swept away by Bowser, taken to the top of the tower, and Sunderland has to make his way through every single floor to get to her. And there is a plot here because he's finding his wife, and I actually liked at the end of this how the plot threads were tied together and kind of came together in this big culmination of everything that had came before it. It's just, it does feel a little bit conceptual, and my enjoyment as I was going through this book very much depended on how much I enjoyed the individual theming and plot of the floor that Sunderland was currently on. So I really didn't like the 4th floor, which is why I just was not as interested in the end of this book. I think my favorite segment of this was the 3rd floor, which contained a little bit of a heist plot. The 2nd floor was kind of cool actually in the way that it was constructed, but I just had no interest in the 4th floor at all. So I've read the beginning of the synopsis for the 2nd book in this series, and I don't know whether it's going to continue. Like, I don't know whether we're going to pick up with Sunderland on the 5th floor. I have a reason to believe that maybe we don't, but then even though it does kind of start coming towards a more cohesive story towards the end of this, it still continued throughout this book to be a progression of Sunderland up this tower. There's 4 books, the last one being out in November, and I'm assuming that the plot of him trying to find his wife is going to continue throughout the entire series. So I'm guessing he's going to finally make his way to the top of the tower and have a series of near misses where he almost finds Maya and doesn't quite. I am going to read the 2nd book. I've heard a lot of people say that they enjoyed the 2nd book more than the 1st one, and I did enjoy this enough to continue. I just didn't love it, sadly. So this was not on my Bookoplathon TBR or on my Magical Readathon TBR. It was a gift from Najwa though, so thank you very much, Najwa, for sending this to me. I'm glad that I finally read it, and this means now I'm free to read Morningstar by Pierce Brown, and I'm so excited. That's the one book that I wanted to get to all month, but because of book club books, I had to push it back, and I was actually supposed to be reading it this week. If everything had gone to plan, I would have already read it by now, but sadly it didn't. But I am going to be picking it up probably tonight, but I'm wrapping this vlog up here, so you guys will hear me talk about it next week. And I'm also going to be reading Buffy and the Kiss Quotient, which are the last books on my TBR that are not Wicked Villains books, the last books on my Bookoplathon at TBR anyway. So that's what we have to look forward to next week. Once again, a huge thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this vlog. If you would like to check out Ana Luisa for yourself, get your hands on any absolutely beautiful sustainable jewelry, then the link to Ana Luisa will be right at the top of my description box, along with my code, which is BeccaBooks10. That will get you 10% off your order. But that is it for this vlog, guys. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you've made it this far, if you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it, and subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you're a go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.